For more on the situation, I'm joined by Vivian Stamatopoulos. She's a long-term care researcher and associate teaching professor at the University of Ontario Institute of Technology. Vivian, I know you're on this topic a lot and you're asked the same questions, but I'm going to ask you again. This is the second, if not the third wave of the virus. Why are our long-term care homes still recording such high numbers?
Because our government failed to implement the recommendations of experts and their own long-term care commissioners to effectively safeguard the sector ahead of the second wave. This was predicted to have happened, and everything that we have predicted would happen has come to unfold because of inaction.
It's that cut and dried.
It really is.
And so, why aren't they listening?
That's a good question. There are calls from advocates, unions representing the workers, the residents, their family members. I mean, the long-term care commissioners, and not one but two interim reports outlining the very key actionable items that they needed to have. Well, we'd have to go back in time now in order to effectively do this, but things like staffing blitzes that Quebec did, and which is why we're not hearing from Quebec having the level of destruction we're having right now. In addition to not implementing infection prevention and control managers at each home, that was something that also Quebec has instituted since August, which has been very successful, and something that we have been telling this government, in addition to the long-term care commissioners telling this government, needed to happen.
So Quebec had the same issues Ontario had, is this what I'm hearing you say, but they're managing to mitigate them somewhat?
Absolutely, because they started back in June. They recognized that staffing was the most important thing in order to safeguard this sector ahead of the second wave. So they started hiring 10,000 workers at the end of May, early June. And what they did was they offered paid training and a starting salary of $50,000 for their equivalent of PSWs, personal support workers. And within days, they had almost 70,000 applicants. This is something that we were telling this government was a model that we needed to replicate, but it didn't happen.
And so as we look at these numbers going up, do you think the military will be needed, will have to be called in again to help? Like, where can the manpower come from?
Well, this is the point. We're at a crisis level right now, and the local public health units, the hospitals, which came in and saved the day really in the first wave, are far too overwhelmed to do that right now, which is also something we predicted months in advance. So we are at the point where you need to get the military back in addition to Red Cross teams, and both of those teams should be supplementing the rapid response teams that are made up of either hospital teams or community healthcare professionals. We really need all hands on deck at this moment. We don't have the luxury of finding staff so quickly without the federal assistance at this point.
Vivian, you're angry and frustrated.
I am. This has been months. Every day of inaction means lives lost. Every day I have to hear from families who have lost loved ones due to preventable error. Mistakes that shouldn't have happened because this sector has been operating like the Wild Wild West, and there are no proper accountability measures to make sure that they're actually keeping these residents safe. I mean, look at what happened at Tender Care. Look at what happened at Sunnycrest. We had inspectors in those homes at the starts of these exploding outbreaks, and they documented a myriad of preventable mistakes that led to these outbreaks. I mean, and what is our government doing?
Well, we will keep checking in with you and keep following up on this, and we appreciate your time, as always. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.